Okay, so this is a demonstration about using selections and then painting within those selections. So I'm going to zoom out, and I can do that with my view menu, or the key command to fit the whole image inside the area would be Command or Control 0 on your keyboard. And what you guys will notice is that I actually made a selection using some of the selection tools here. Now, you have selection tools in the second, third, and fourth position of your toolbar. And I used the magic wand, which selects by color. And just to review, any of these little white triangles in the corner indicates on the toolbar that other tools are hiding underneath. So you should be able to right click or use the Alt key and click, and it will give you the other tools that are hiding underneath. I chose the magic wand because it selects by color. Now, I happen to have a lot of black here, so of course my magic wand is going to be sensitive to all those very black tones because I actually clicked in the middle of my shirt and it selected any color that it thinks is a similar pixel color. So that's why it actually grabbed some of my hair and whatnot. But I'm not going to worry so much about that because I don't have to paint in. There are ways to add to the selection or subtract from the selection. It is in Photoshop, I know for sure that the Alt button will subtract from your selection and the Shift key adds. So I haven't tried it yet in Photopea. I'm guessing it's probably the same. Usually you can hit Alt and kind of push away and it will subtract. Of course, it didn't work in this case because I haven't quite practiced it and I'm not perfectly sure of if it's identical to Photoshop, but I'm going to start from scratch in my background layer. So I want to select my shirt, and I have to select it because the shirt is only in my background layer right now. So this is where I'm going to be. And when I grab the magic wand, which I already did here, and I click on something that is a dark color, it's going to grab everything that looks pretty similar. Now, the nice thing about selections is when you then go to the brush, it will allow you to draw only within that selection. So now here's the tricky part. When you're drawing inside a selection, I've got my selection, but remember, you don't want to be drawing in the background layer. I'm going to make another layer right above my background layer. So let's say I go to my new layer button. Because I was in my background layer, it actually put the layer right above the background layer. And now I'm going to double click and name this one shirt because this is where I'm going to do the work, right in the shirt area. And I'm not worried so much about this because I'm not even going to bother painting in here, although you could if you wanted to. So now I'm going to go to my brush tool and I'm going to choose a color for my shirt. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit here. Control minus zooms you out. Control plus zooms you in if you also want to do this by key command. Otherwise, you have your navigator here. I think I might just zoom out a little bit more so you can see my edges of my selection. Okay. So as I get my brush tool, let's say I want to go with something very different that I don't have in the picture. Maybe I'll go with some green just so that you guys can see it for contrast. And I'm at 72% opacity. Maybe I'll leave that okay. Okay, now my brush is a very small brush here. It's 1 pixel. I need a brush that's bigger because I'm going to paint inside the shirt area. I can scale it up here. or my bracket tools on my keyboard will make my brush bigger or smaller. So I'm going with my right bracket right now, which is making my brush bigger. And I'm making sure that I'm in the shirt layer. And my hope is that as I brush, it is only going to stay within that selection. So if I want to give myself a funky striped shirt or any kind of drawing solely within the area of my shirt, this is basically how you guys are going to use selections to keep yourself within the lines. Now, here we go. Photoshop or Photopea is glitching on me. If I go to edit, undo, it'll get rid of some of my last moves there. But this is the way you guys can use selections to kind of help you paint within the lines. And maybe you'll find that useful. That's actually how I did the plaid shirt when I was working on it last week, and I showed you guys from school. So I'm going to zoom out and look at the full view here. And fit on screen. And I'm going to go back to the background layer because if I am interested in then adding some shapes that I'm going to color in for my background, you can use other selection tools. So the lasso tool is a freehand tool. You can maybe draw something freehand if you want. And then now that's a selection that I can paint inside. If you want to deselect and start over, usually double clicking will get rid of the selection and let you select again, or you can hit select, deselect, or the key command Control D. That will deselect for you. So Control D gets rid of that. If you want to do some more straightforward shapes, what you have here is the rectangular marquee tool. So you can draw any kind of rectangle. And you also have the ellipse if you want to draw ovals or circles as well. So that could be really, any kind of, you can draw that on any area of your photograph and fill in that way. So this is really more like advanced stuff. As your drawing comes to an end and you're really layering and filling up your skin and other parts that you want to draw over. Again, save every 5 or 10 minutes. We want to go to the File menu. We want to go to Save as a PSD, so all of your layers are retained separately. Right, this is version 4 because I saved it once already with you guys. And I just want to show you guys, remember the exporting as a JPEG. Don't do that. Try to avoid that for this because anytime you export as a JPEG or some of these other files, it's going to flatten all those layers. And when you open the file again, you will not be able to work inside those individual layers. So you always want to save as a PSD so that you have layers. So I'll stop it right here.